Welcome to the Thursday edition of the Spark Creativity Teacher Podcast, a podcast for English teachers in search of creative teaching strategies. Whether you're new to the show or a longtime listener, I'm so glad you're here for this week's mini episode. Today, I want to talk about a fantastic podcast for you to use in class if you teach Shakespeare. With dozens of intriguing episodes like Shakespeare and Game of Thrones, Shakespeare and YA novels, and pop sonnets, the Shakespeare Unlimited Podcast by the Folger Shakespeare Library is a great way to bring in modern connections and relevancy to whatever play you're studying. Today, I'll give you a quick rundown on 4 fun episodes, and then I hope you'll go exploring on your own to find more episodes that could help your students make connections between your chosen Shakespearean text and modern life. Have you been wondering how to get started with student podcasting? Would you like to get your students thriving inside this 21st century medium without feeling worried about tech issues and platform choices? I'm now opening the doors to my free summer workshop, Camp Creative. Over the course of 3 days, I'll give you everything you need to banish those fears over podcasting technology, platforms, and privacy issues, and start seeing your students thrive with creative podcasting projects instead. You'll get my favorite models and listening activities for helping students connect to podcasts before they create their own, done-for-you curriculum for launching your first project, and the easiest tools and platforms for recording and sharing student work in a safe way. Just as in Camp Creative's past, each day's training, packed with resources and tips, will arrive in your inbox, ready for you to explore when you have time. You'll find the link to sign up in the show notes over at nowsparkcreativity.com. I can't wait to work with you during this free summer session. So I've listened to quite a lot of this podcast, and I just want to give you the rundown of 4 episodes that kind of apply to Shakespeare in general. And then you can go exploring through the vast show list of Shakespeare Unlimited and see if you can find ones that really fit whatever play you're doing as well. As always, I recommend that you listen to any podcast episode that you're going to play for your students. I'm sure some of the show, delves into mature topics. I have not listened to every episode, and also I just don't know your community. So I always want to give that heads up. Okay, so diving into these episodes, there's one called Akala and Hip Hop Shakespeare, and maybe you have also seen Akala's TED Talk about hip hop Shakespeare. It's really cool. But in this episode, Akala explores how the rhythm and rhyme of Shakespeare, as well as the deep meaning of Shakespeare, relates to the same components of hip hop. He talks about the traditions of music flowing out of Africa and into the diaspora, and also brings up questions of who education is for and how Shakespeare came to be associated with elite society. It's a very interesting episode. Okay, here's another. In Shakespeare and YA novels, 2 novelists who write for the teenage audience talk about how they've used Shakespeare's work to inspire their own and how they felt connecting themselves to someone so renowned. Okay, there's another one. In William Shakespeare's Star Wars, one author explains how and why he came to rewrite the Star Wars series in Shakespearean language. Surprise! Bet you didn't see that one coming. Last but not least, this one's super fun. It's called Pop Sonnets. Have you heard of the Pop Sonnets? The writer of Pop Sonnets comes on to share how he came to rewrite pop songs as Shakespearean sonnets. And spoiler alert, they sure did become a sensation. If you listen to this episode, I'm sure you'll want to go and check out some of the pop sonnets for yourself and perhaps with your students. When you're integrating episodes like this into class, try giving your students a sketch notes template to provide a little bit of loose structure as they listen. Let them know how you're going to be using the text moving forward so they have a reason to pay attention. Maybe you're listening to the episode and it's going to lead into a writing activity or a silent discussion or maybe a mini podcast project of your own. We will be diving into a lot of this in Camp Creative in June, so I hope you sign up. Shakespeare can sometimes feel far away to our students, but the Shakespeare Unlimited podcast truly helps bridge the gap. That's why this week I want to highly recommend you hit follow on their feed and see what wonders you discover.